Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Continuing the reading of the biographies or stories of the companions of Sayyidina Shaykh Ahmad Tijani. It must be noted that these are not full biographies. These are many time notes of collections of events or what has been transmitted regarding a certain individual who is known to take from Shaykh Ahmad Tijani radiallahu anhu, or who met him during their lifetime. Today we are going over the third one in this biography, and these that we're going over first are the first students of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani, and also the closest companions to Shaykh Ahmad Tijani. Today we are going over Sidi Muhammad ibn Mishri, radiallahu anhu. Sidi Muhammad ibn Mishri al-Hassani al-Sa'i, from the region of Touggourt in Algeria. Sidi Muhammad Mishri, and it's not to be confused with those who have been named after him. He is the original Sidi Muhammad Mishri in Tijani history. This is a companion of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani radiallahu anhu. And what is unlike the other ones that we have studied, Sidi Ali Harazim, Sidi Muhammad Damrawi, they were known for their sainthood and closeness to Shaykh Ahmad Tijani in an inner level, for the love and also the experiences. And it is said that if you want to know the proof of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani, one of those many proofs are the people who took from him, his students. And Sayyidi Muhammad ibn Mishri was different from him with the others that we have studied so far, Sayyidi Ali Harazim and Sayyidi Muhammad ibn Arabi Damrawi. Sayyidi Muhammad ibn Mishri was known as a learned scholar. He was known as a learned scholar, whereas the others were not known for their scholarship. They were known for their walaya. Sayyidi Muhammad ibn Mishri was known before he took the tariqah. He was known for being a scholar, a alim, a faqih, a jurist in the religion. And he was from a certain city or region that all of the people in that city are known for their knowledge and for their walaya, and also being fuqaha, being learned scholars, ulama of the religion, the city where he was from. And he is, some will argue, one of the first, but he is the third of the people who took from Shaykh Ahmad Tijani. Even before Shaykh Ahmad Tijani had his own tariqah, these three individuals took the Khalwatiyya tariqah from him. And it's also reported that even Sidi Ali Harazim took the Khalwatiyya from Sayyidi Muhammad Mishri, who gave it to him with permission from Shaykh Ahmad Tijani. And after Shaykh Ahmad Tijani was given his own tariqah, Sayyidi Muhammad bin Mishri was one of the first three that took the tariqah Tijaniya. Sayyidi Muhammad bin Mishri, he was known for being two main things in his relationship with Shaykh Ahmad Tijani. And he stayed with Shaykh Ahmad Tijani throughout his life. When we read of those stories of the certain companions of the Prophet ﷺ, that their whole life was spent in service to him, this is the same with Sayyidi Muhammad bin Mishri and Shaykh Ahmad Tijani, where his whole life, his whole adult life, from a young man till he passed away, was spent in the service, the khidmah of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani, Sayyidi Muhammad bin Mishri. Even so, that Shaykh Ahmad Tijani nominated him to be the Imam. There was one time when, before Shaykh Ahmad Tijani received his order from the Prophet ﷺ that he is not to make salat behind anyone due to his maqam. He is not to make salat behind anyone except Juma prayer. Before that, Shaykh Ahmad Tijani used to appoint Sidi Muhammad bin Mishri to lead the salat. Shaykh Ahmad Tijani, at one point in his life, growing up and in his young adulthood, he preferred not to lead the salat because of the responsibility in it, and also because of his humble nature. And the one that he used to appoint to lead his salat was Sidi Muhammad bin Mishri. So even then, if we were to stop and not mention any other things about Muhammad bin Mishri, that would suffice. For Shaykh Ahmad Tijani was very strict in who he followed in the salat. For as their inner nature, for as their outward, for as how they outward, meaning how they read the prayer, how they concentrated in the prayer, how they prepared for the salat, how they followed the rules of the salat. So for him to appoint Sidi Muhammad bin Mishri to lead him in salat for almost 15 years, that says a lot about Muhammad bin Mishri. Also, Sidi Muhammad bin Mishri was the scribe of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani, who used to compose letters. He used to write letters on his behalf. And he would answer requests whenever someone wrote Shaykh Ahmad Tijani. Sidi Muhammad bin Mishri was the scribe, where Shaykh Ahmad Tijani would dictate for him what to say, or Muhammad bin Mishri would answer the reply, would answer the letter himself, and Shaykh Ahmad Tijani would sign off on it as being sufficient for his answer. But then it came a point where Shaykh Ahmad Tijani was ordered by the Prophet ﷺ, once he reached his maqam, not to make salat behind anyone. Except, the only exception was for the Salatul Jummah prayer. Salatul Jummah prayer. And it is known that Sidi Muhammad Mishri was a custodian of many of the secrets of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani, for he was his scribe and he was his close companion, and he received many things from him until he passed away. He passed away 6 years before Shaykh Ahmad Tijani, which is 1809. Shaykh Ahmad Tijani radiallahu anhuma passed away in 1815. He is also the one who authored one of the greatest books of the Tariqah called the Kitab al-Jami', the book that gathers all the knowledges of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani together in a book. This book has many similar features as the things written in the Jawahir Mani of Sidi Ali Harazim. It is some things that are, most of it is the same, but there are also some things that's not in the Jawahir Mani for different notes that were written down at different times from Shaykh Ahmad Tijani. And Shaykh Ahmad Tijani gave Sidi Muhammad Mishri the job of whenever anyone in a certain region of Algeria, Morocco, or Tunisia that wanted to learn more about the Tariqah, he would send Sidi Muhammad bin Mishri to them. He once transmitted the Tariqah to the people of his tribe, the Awlad al-Sa'ih. Sa'ih is a famous tribe, a Shurufat tribe in Algeria and in the Maghreb. And he went there and he gave the Tariqah to all of the inhabitants of that area. And it is known that for his whole life, Sidi Muhammad bin Mishri, he never did anything for his own benefit. Everything was done to honor his Shaykh and to help Shaykh Ahmad Tijani, to the point that he always made himself available to accompany Shaykh Ahmad Tijani wherever he went, or whenever anything was needed from Shaykh Ahmad Tijani, he would make himself available to do it. And when he passed away, he didn't leave any money. He didn't own anything. He didn't have any wife. He did not have any children. He dedicated his whole life to Shaykh Ahmad Tijani. And he's buried in Ain Madi, the home of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani. He's buried in Ain Madi next to the parents of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani. And he was known to be an intimate friend, an intimate companion of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani, to the point where when he passed away, when Sidi Muhammad bin Mishri passed away, he passed away from a disease that that was an affliction of him. And we will get into that shortly. But Shaykh Ahmad Tijani wrote a letter to his family sending his condolences. And here's the contents of some of that letter. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, and may the prayer and salutation of Allah be upon our Master Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his family, and his companions. After praising Allah, His Majesty is exalted, His greatness is powerful, His glory is most high, His magnificence and generosity are sanctified. This letter is intended for our loved ones and our friends, all who hold a special place in our hearts, members of the tribe of Awlad Sidi Muhammad Sa'ih, to each and every one of you in person and individually. May the peace, the mercy, the blessing of Allah, the Most High, be upon you and upon all your children and your beloved. From the poor servant of Allah, Ahmad ibn Muhammad at-Tijani, we request Allah to increase our retribution and yours, and to grant us and you the deepest condolences, and to relieve us and you of our pain upon the loss of Sayyid Muhammad ibn Mishri. You should know that our pain upon his loss is greater than yours. He's speaking, Shaykh Ahmad Tijani is sending this letter to the family, the relatives of Sayyid Muhammad bin Mishri, to his tribe, his closest relatives. And in the letter, Shaykh Ahmad Tijani is saying that his loss, the pain of that loss, is more for us than it is for you, his own family. And that's the end of some of that letter. Sayyid Muhammad bin Mishri was known, again, as we said, as a scholar, and he wrote many books. One of the books he wrote, as we said, is the Kitab al-Jami', the collection of books of knowledges that were dictated from the mouth of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani. That book is not a published book. Even though you can get it, it's not something that's sold in the bookstores like the other books. Most of the books of the Kitab al-Jami' is either handwritten or published privately. He also wrote a book which was the first book in the time of the Tariqah called Nasrul Shurafa fi Rad ala Ahl Jafa, meaning the supporting response for the Shurafa against the arrogant people. So he wrote a book about some of the aggressions that were done towards the descendants of the Prophet ﷺ. He wrote a book in their defense. And this book is also called the Mawahib al-Manan. And this is known as the first book of the Tariqah, which is actually a defense of the Shurafa and talking about how their position with Allah and the Prophet ﷺ is so high, the Ahlul Bayt. And as we said before, Sayyid Muhammad bin Mishri was known to be the Imam, the one who led the prayer of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani in the earlier days. Some of the things that happened with the spiritual states of Sayyid Muhammad bin Mishri is this one occasion where once he was traveling. He was traveling on his horse, and he passed by one of the maqams of a great wali who was his ancestor. And this ancestor, this wali that he passed by, was known in his age as being a great wali who had the power of tasrif. Tasrif is like to be able to govern or to make certain things happen under the will of Allah. Tasrif, to make good things or bad things befall. And out of the love of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani, he did not go to visit his grand ancestor because of the rules of the tariqah, in which the Prophet ﷺ told Shaykh Ahmad Tijani that his students are prohibited from visiting the other saints, whether they are alive or dead, for any spiritual benefit. And while he was passing this Wali's grave, the horse that was under Sidi Muhammad Mishri started to fall down, as if making the horse bow and come towards the maqam. So the Wali, the grave, the Wali in the grave, which was an ancestor of Sidi Muhammad bin Mishri, was making it so to make the horse to come towards him, so Muhammad bin Mishri can visit him, because they were relatives. At that time, Sayyid Muhammad bin Mishri spoke out loud towards the tomb and said, "I swear by Allah, if you do not release my horse, I will complain to Shaykh Ahmad Tijani about you." At that point, the sand and the ground released the horse, and the horse was able to move as if nothing occurred. Also, going back to the point that Sayyid Muhammad bin Mishri was the Imam of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani, that is reported a lot in the Jawahir Mani. And it is known that Shaykh Ahmad Tijani did not, whoever he saw him praying behind, he was very strict about who to pray behind. Because many Imams, sometimes they don't do things correctly in the Sharia. Maybe their wudu is not correct. Many times their inner state is not correct when they're leading Salat. Also, some Imams, they accept bribes. They accept money from people in order to do certain things. Shaykh Ahmad Tijani would not pray behind these individuals. But it's known that Shaykh Ahmad Tijani used to pray behind Sidi Muhammad bin Mishri. So that is understood, his closeness to Allah, his understanding of the Haqiqah and the Sharia, and his knowledge, which gave him that reputation to be able to pray in front of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani. Also, he's originated from, again, a certain town in Algeria that was famed for knowledge and its saints. And all of the people of the town took the tariqah of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani. And they would visit Shaykh Ahmad Tijani many times. And this journey was a long journey, which it took more than 20 days, almost a month, for them to travel to Shaykh Ahmad Tijani to meet him. But they used to meet him, and when they came on their trip, they used to bring many gifts to Shaykh Ahmad Tijani. And this journey that they used to take was well known, to where you will find these visitors in Shaykh Ahmad Tijani's house, and their behavior in the religion and the knowledge was not equal to other people, for they were already scholars before meeting Shaykh Ahmad Tijani, and no one was more worthy than them in Shaykh Ahmad Tijani's eyes because of their knowledge and their adab, and he paid special attention to them, more than sometimes the many people who was already there and dear to him. And when they asked Shaykh Ahmad Tijani about this, he answered, "These people, they are unlike others because they seek the highest degrees and all aspects of the Sunnah." And he made dua that Allah will always be pleased with them. Also, it is known that Sidi Muhammad bin Mishri, he was made to leave Fez at the time of his opening. Because Shaykh Ahmad Tijani made the famous statement that anyone who reaches the level of the opening, the spiritual victory, they must leave my presence. We can't be in the same area, basically ordering them to leave and to go out among the lands in order to teach others. And Sayyid Muhammad bin Mishri was so depressed from this, he actually caught a disease that came from this depression of being separated from Shaykh Ahmad Tijani. And he wandered the deserts, he wandered Algeria, all in Tunisia, giving talks and teaching people, but also out of depression of being away from Shaykh Ahmad Tijani. And he passed away in Ain Madi, in the home of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani in Algeria, and he's buried with Shaykh Ahmad Tijani's parents, radiallahu anhuma. This is the ending. There's also, when you go into some of the books of the Tariqah, there is something that happened in the ending life of Shaykh Muhammad bin Mishri, in which he made a mistake. He made a mistake in how he treated some of the beloved brothers. And when he made that mistake, he was also on the same path of being away from Shaykh Ahmad Tijani. And Shaykh Ahmad Tijani ordered him to make up for it and apologize to his brothers. And this is a very important aspect, detail, because the Prophet ﷺ ordered Shaykh Ahmad Tijani to tell his companions to be careful in how they treat each other, because how you treat a Tijani, it affects the Prophet ﷺ. It affects him personally. So something happened between Sayyid Muhammad bin Mishri and another companion of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani, which caused him to have to leave or be retributed by Shaykh Ahmad Tijani and also the Prophet ﷺ, to the point where Shaykh Muhammad bin Mishri couldn't return back to his original place. And after he was made to apologize to his brothers in the path, the Prophet ﷺ gave him the order of having to reconcile. It's said that Sidi Ali Harazim asked all, in one of his experiences, he met all of the prophets, and he was asking one of them to intercede with the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ for Sidi Muhammad bin Mishri. And out of all of the prophets that he met, the only one who was able to intercede for Sayyid Muhammad bin Mishri, in which his intercession was accepted by that prophet, was Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. And the Prophet ﷺ told Prophet Ibrahim, in this experience that Sidi Ali Harazim is having, that the only reason why he accepted his intercession is because he's his grandfather. That he's his grandfather. So from this story is two messages to receive. One is that do not underestimate how you treat your Tijani brothers. It's very important, because if you hurt a Tijani brother, it is the same as hurting the Prophet ﷺ directly. And that's one of the things that he does not like, that he ordered Shaykh Ahmad Tijani, is when the brothers have problems among themselves. That's one of the main things that we should take from this example. And the other example that we must take is that some of these stories that we hear, for example, Sidi Ali Harazim, he was buried alive in Badr when they thought that he was dead. Also with Muhammad bin Mishri, these are trials that some of the great walis go through, but even more so, these are things that if we see them on face value, we would think that this is something that wouldn't happen to a great wali of Allah. And it's something just to make us, it covers his real maqam, it covers his high status by these things happening that we cannot explain. And when Sayyid Muhammad bin Mishri passed away, Shaykh Ahmad Tijani offered that all of the people that took from him, that he will give them the tariqah again. He will do their tajdeed directly himself, Shaykh Ahmad Tijani. This comes to the end of the biography of Sidi Muhammad bin Mishri. radiallahu anhu. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد فاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق الناصر بالحق بالحق والهادي إلى الصراط المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدر المقدار العظيم سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.